Dear students, welcome to the Lecturette series. Today is the first topic of Lecturette series. So let's get started. We all might have heard about the terms SC, ST, OBC or EWS. And heard about creamy layer. What do these point towards? These indicate towards reservation. And that is the topic of today's lecture, the reservation policy of India. Since the topic is quite vast, so we're going to be restricting ourselves to 3 or 4 broad headings. Now, these are going to be the history of reservation policy, what are the advantages of reservation policy, what are the disadvantages, and finally, what is the way forward. Talking about the history first of all, when we talk about the history of reservation, so we need to go back to the British period, right? When around 1919, there was a communal award, right? Thereafter, in 1932, Pune Pact was signed between the father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, as well as the father of the Constitution, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And under this pact, it was agreed upon that India will have one single electorate with reservation for particular marginalized communities. So we skip forward to 1947 when India gained its independence, and thereafter the constitution was enforced, and in this constitution there were separate provisions which were there specifically for reservation. The basic idea behind reservation is to undo the historical injustice which has been done to the marginalized communities, also called Harijans, by Mahatma Gandhi. So in the Constitution of India, Article 15 and Article 16, which provided that in education and in jobs, public employment, the state would not discriminate on the basis of RRCS POB. Now, what is this RRCS POB? Race, religion, caste, sex and place of birth. So these were the provisions made by Article 15 and 16. Additionally, there were some other articles, 341, 342 and a few others. But at the time of independence, the reservation was provided only to the SCs and STs. Now let's move slightly ahead. Let's come to 1991 when in India, the LPG reforms or the liberalization, privatization, globalization reforms were taking place. At this time in 1991, the Mandal Commission was set up which provided reservation to OBCs or other backward class. And it also talked about the creamy and non-creamy layers, whereby the creamy layer was that section of OBCs which was financially well off, and non-creamy layer was that section of OBCs which required reservation or upliftment. Thereafter, we come to 1992 and we see a landmark judgment in the form of Indira Sahni versus Union of India. In this judgment, 50% ceiling was set to reservation, that beyond 50% of the total vacancies, reservation will not be given except under exceptional circumstances, which later on came to be used in 103 Constitutional Amendment Act in 2019. And here, utilizing this exceptional circumstances situation, 10% of extra reservation was given to the economically weaker sections of the society or EWS. So this was a brief history. Now let's talk about the advantages. The biggest advantage that this reservation policy has to offer is that it looks to undo the historical injustice which has been done to these marginalized communities. We can see even in the old scriptures how Shudras of the Varna system were treated unfairly. They had to live outside the village and they were subjected to various discriminatory practices. This hampered their ability to generate employment, ability to be economically sound. Because of this, since ancient times, the systematic injustice has been there. So the reservation policy looks to undo that, right? Second advantage is it aims to provide equality to each and every member of the society. It also aims for social and economical inclusion of the backward classes or the marginalized SC and ST communities. So that being said, these are the advantages. Let's talk about the disadvantage. So the major disadvantage is that of meritocracy versus reservation. So the biggest concern at times is that through reservation, someone who is not competent for the job might find their way into the system. This will lead to backlogs and clogging of the system. So this is the biggest debate, which is of meritocracy, right? And this is the reason why Indira Sahni has imposed a ceiling of 50%. The second disadvantage is that it appears to be dividing the society. Nowadays, we see that a lot of aspirants who undergo competitive examinations, they have a very bitter feeling towards reservation. So this is one example of that. However, in the long run, this can be managed. Now, talking about the way forward. So the way forward is complete integration of the marginalized community into the society. That is the only way forward. The whole reason for existence of the reservation policy is because there has been historical injustice towards these sections. Now, the reservation policy will not go away until this injustice vanishes from the society, which is currently, it does not seem that we have reached that stage yet. However, there has been some progress made. Currently in the metro cities, we can see that the society is becoming economy centric. So in such situations, the lines appear to be blurred. However, there still exists the issue of intercaste marriages, which are looked down upon by the society. And if we go to some of the sections, we can still see that the marginalized community, they are being offered food and water in separate utensils when they visit someone of the so-called higher caste. So that is all, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this lecture, and we'll be posting more content soon. This will be a chain of videos. This will be a series of videos in which we try to enhance your knowledge about these various lecture topics. Thank you and Jai Hind.